With a major selection of the looks your kiddos love starting at just $4 in the Walmart app, a new school year means a stylish new them. Who knew? Find skater skirts and Crocs that say, I'm casual but cool. Sparkly sneakers that say, it's my classroom, you're just learning in it. And preppy polos that say, I'm the teacher's pet, even if they're mommy's menace at home. Find their favorite styles starting at just $4 in the app. The Walmart you thought you knew is now new.
This episode is brought to you by Starbucks. Smooth, bright, deliciously crafted. Introducing Starbucks Sansera Blend, their smoothest, brightest coffee yet. It's a new kind of light roast, one that's packed with so much flavor, it shines no matter how you brew it. So go ahead and try it hot, iced, black, or with a splash of creamer. Visit athome.starbucks.com/Sansera-blend-coffee to bring Starbucks Sansera Blend home.
It was like a plague of locusts. I don't know what happened, but the whole bugs in the whole of England decided, you know what? Tonight, we feast. And they just decided, you know what? Esme, she is one tasty girl. Hello everybody and welcome back to my podcast, Esme's Country Life. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking to you about why I have bought some very expensive feet picks. And that's because my horse Joey hasn't been too well, so he's had to have x-rays, had to have everything. So we're going to get into that in a little bit. But first, I just want to say a huge thank you to the sponsor of the podcast, Red Post. Red Post is an equestrian and country store based in the UK, but they also ship all over the world. And right now, if you're listening to the podcast as it's out, the summer sale at Red Post is now on. It's for a limited time only. So if you're listening and you want to get some good summer bargains while it's still happening, go and check it out now, especially if you're looking at the new Lemure Spring-Summer collection, because I know Lemure colours, once they're gone, they're gone. Once they're sold out, you will never be able to find them again because they get discontinued really quickly. So if you've been eyeing up the Mimosa or the Peony or the Aqua or the Lagoon or any of the other colours, now's your time. Go to Red Post because actually they have up to 25% off Lemure products in the summer sale, so go and check it out. And also, just a little reminder, I know I say this every episode, but it's not long now until my meet and greet at Red Post on Saturday the 23rd of August. I'm going to be there all day. More information is on my website, thisesme.com, about all of my meet and greets. But yeah, really excited. It's in Devon, and of course, they have the Red Post Cafe. They have all the shopping, and the cafe, they do some incredible stuff. Chef's kiss. Anyway, thank you so much to Red Post for sponsoring the podcast, and let's get into today's episode. Now, before I talk to you all about Joey's injuries, all the things that's gone wrong, it's been a tough week. It's been a rough week. But first, I thought to cheer us up, to lighten the mood, to start the podcast, we would do comment of the week. Because when I tell you, I was cackling reading your comments of the week last week. So last week, for some context, if you missed last week's episode or you're new, I did a little thing called comment of the week. And my question for you guys was, what is the most unhinged video idea for my channel that you can come up with? Because I thought, you know what, this would be funny, see what you guys have, because you guys have got some entertaining ideas. So starting off, we're gonna just have to do the top one, because this one had a lot of interactions. It had 7 different replies, loads of different likes, and this is from Isabel, and her username actually has some cool disco balls and headphones in, and it says I'm really good at reading, if you couldn't tell. The dyslexia is kicking in. Reply to this if you could, but I think it would be I have a really funny video idea for you. So get a really long wig, replace the horse's mane and tails with it, and you could dress the horses up and go for a hack in public and count how many weird looks you get. She also says, thank you for getting me into horses because they've saved my life. Oh, that's really sweet. So I'm not sure what the horses would think to putting wigs on them. I mean, I think he could rock a wig, my little guy. But the comment that actually made me like almost cry laugh when I was reading it, this one is from Freya. I feel like Freya's done comment of the week once before, so Freya, you're up there. Anyway, so she says, hey Esme, I think you should make a video of you dressing up the horses as F1 drivers and then make a track for them to compete on. They would all need team names as well. Now this was the bit that really tickled me. She says, also, I went for an MRI last week and I asked to put your in the headphones to put your podcast on, and they picked last week's episode, so all the doctors enjoyed listening to all 3 of your toilet stories. To the doctors at whatever hospital you're at, I apologise. I hope it was entertaining. Also, that week's episode, I did not mean to have 3 different toilet stories. It just happened. I don't know why. I just happened to talk a lot about toilets in that episode. So anyway, thank you very much, Freya, for that, and to hope your MRI went well. So yes, I think that's probably not the is it the weirdest? I don't know. Actually, for this week's Comment of the Week, I want you to tell me, where is the weirdest place that you have listened to the podcast episode? I want to hear the weirdest, strangest. If you have anything that tops random doctors in a hospital with their big serious jobs listening to me talk about toilets, I want to hear about it, so leave it in the comments. Anyway, let's get into this week's episode, because I have made a YouTube video on this, but you guys know, on the podcast, you get all the details, you get all the goss, you get the added information. So I'm going to be giving you an update on my horse Joey. So my horse Joey, had for 5 years, little backstory, got him just before COVID as a 5-year-old, a quite young horse, and he's just accident prone. He's had 2 different like paddock injuries where he's hurt himself and has had to have time off and that kind of thing. And last winter, I really thought this is going to be the first winter where we have no injuries, we can just crack on, have some fun, especially with the way that my job works on social media. The horse world kind of goes to sleep as soon as Christmas has happened. Like January, February, March, I'm pretty quiet work-wise. That's the like one time where my work levels kind of go to like a normal level, and I can have like a little bit of a rest, a little bit of holiday, and just like have time with the horses and my family and things that are important. But yes, Joey decided, just as spring was happening, just as the weather was getting nicer, because I planned a whole series on my channel called Joey Boot Camp, and I don't know, it's just the irony. I start this series of like us getting fit for the spring and the summer. We're gonna go out and do fun things. The plan was to go and do show jumping and cross country and all the things that Joey loves, and hacking, all that kind of stuff. And then what happens? He's not quite right. So anyway, I was doing some hacking with him around the village, on the road, to build up our fitness. He's a horse that loves his hacking. And what happened was, we were riding along, we were almost home, big tractor came by, and now Joey, he's not a scaredy cat. Casper, my other horse, he is petrified of life. Like he's a little bit of a nervous Nora. He doesn't really like tractors, and he doesn't really like motorbikes or rattly trailers. Basically, if it's a car, it's fine. If it's any other sort of vehicle, he's a little bit suspicious. Which is fair enough, because a tractor with a big old combine, well, actually no, combine harvester and tractor are different, but a tractor with a big old rattly trailer or a big old fork at the front, I'm not gonna lie, I find them a little bit scary. I wouldn't want something that big coming up at me. Joey, on the other hand, he's a little bit more chilled. He doesn't really care. And this tractor went by, and I thought, he's seen tractors before. He's not like Casper. He's normally super chill. I think it's because we were on our way home, and it was a bit of a longer hack than usual, and I think he was just rushing to get home, and we had to stop for this tractor, and he just got, I think frustrated is the right word. He's a very impatient horse. If his dinner isn't ready on time, he's upset. If like something's late, he's upset. So anyway, we're waiting for this tractor to go by. It was a big tractor, and anyway, he ended up leaping on a concrete road, did like almost a big hop buck, basically back legs went up in the air, went slam down onto the concrete, and I was like, ooh, Joey, that is not good for you. I was like, anyway, calmed him down, got him home, all was well. Next day, went to, give him a light schooling. This boy was not right. Off I got, gave him like a lunge to, to see how he was moving. I was like, you, sir, you are not right. So anyway, off to the vets we go. We actually gave him a few days because obviously vets are busy, and he's not, it wasn't an emergency. It was just, I got a horse, it's not quite right. So anyway, a few days later, our vet's like, we can squeeze you in, come and drop him off one morning. So anyway, in the horse box we go over to our vets for a very expensive day trip out. So anyway, drop him off, and I'm just like, look, my horse's happiness, health and well-being is my top priority. Do all the tests. Do all the things that need to be done. Now, I know some people will be like, Esme, that's such a waste of money. But I'm the sort of person where I need that peace of mind. I want to know that there's not any little thing that's going to be upsetting my horse or having him in pain or anything like that. I want to make sure that he is happy. So I was like, do all the things that need to be done. So anyway, Joey has a full MOT, the works. He has x-rays, he has his back checked, he has all this kind of stuff. And then that's when they find out that his stifles need a little bit of help. So a few weeks go by, they fit him in, and he has some stifle injections. So at first, when they said us, we can do the kind of steroid injections. And actually, it's one of those things that I was kind of really nervous about talking about this on my channel, because nobody really talks about it. But in my time working in the horse world, I've talked to so many different people and so many different disciplines, backgrounds, from professional riders to your everyday happy hacker. And I think it's a lot more common than people think to have horses medicated or that kind of thing. And I would never do that to my horses to, be able to push them further or harder or compete higher. Or that is not what it's about. For me, at the end of the day, it is to make sure that my horses are happy and comfortable, and I want to do whatever my vets recommend and whatever they think is best for my horses. So anyway, I was a little bit nervous about talking about that, just because it's something that people don't really talk about. I'm sure there are so many people in the horse world that, that's kind of a regular thing, or there are some horses that are injected up to their eyeballs. Anyway, that's a different topic. But anyway, so I was like, okay, I want to make sure that Joey, because before that he was we were having some dressage lessons, and he just took a little bit longer than usual to warm up. And I thought, oh, maybe it's winter, maybe it's because the weather's not very good, he's not moving around as much, maybe it's just taking him a little while to warm up, as you would think, because it's not like he's an old horse or anything like that. And that, I think, was the first kind of telltale sign of maybe he's not quite right. So anyway.
The McDonald's snack wrap is back. You brought it back. Ranch snack wrap. Spicy snack wrap. You broke the internet. For a snack. Snack wrap is back. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
This episode is sponsored by Friskies, who would like to tell your cats hi. Now, if that didn't get your cat's attention, there's one thing that always does the trick. Just pour some Friskies crunchy food in the bowl and you'll hear those paws come running. Works every time. With so many Friskies choices, you can always bring your cats running from their secret napping spots. There's always more to explore. See for yourself at friskies.com or visit your local store.
He has his stifles injected. We go through the whole rehab process. Again, Joey owes me nothing. If he could never be ridden again, we have him for life. He is our boy. He's not going anywhere. He owes me nothing. But for me, I know that Joey is a horse that he loves to go and do fun things. He is like a border collie. He needs to be mentally and physically kind of doing things to keep him happy. So if that's taking him on hacks or rides or jumping or that kind of thing. So we took things nice and slowly again, because I don't want to push him. I don't want to rush things. I don't want him to get worse. So we took all of our vets' advice and slowly rehabbed him. And then we brought him back into work, and he was feeling amazing, actually. Back cantering again. I remember we did a lot of walk and trot work to begin with. And then when we were cantering him again, I was like, oh my goodness, this is the best canter ever. I don't think it was one of those things where I was I didn't quite realize that he needed that little bit of extra help, and bam, he's feeling amazing. So happy. We're starting to have regular dressage lessons again. I was literally about to film a video all about his stifles being injected and talking about the process of that, and that's why we've not had any Joey bootcamp videos, and why I haven't been jumping him, because apart from the other day, I haven't jumped him since kind of October, November, because I gave him a little rest over the winter where I was focusing on family and important things. And I mean, the weather in the winter is just not great. Like, you put a show jumping fence up in the wind and it just falls down. So anyway, yes, so that was all good. About to start jumping him again. And then one day, my dad and I, like our normal sort of morning routine, feed the horses, put them out. I ran him the day before. He actually felt incredible. Was so happy with him. Like, it was just like a light little schooling session, nothing too big because I was supposed to be having a lesson that day. Anyway, turn him out. And I feel like with horses, when you know them, you can tell, like, just from a few steps, you can tell when something's not quite right. So anyway, Joey out in the paddock, and I was like, ooh, you don't look right. Like, Joey's quite like an active horse. Like, he likes to have a little move and a groove and a walk around and have a little sniff around his paddock. I don't know, that kind of thing when we put him out in the morning. And he just wasn't quite moving. And when he was moving, it wasn't quite right. And I was like, maybe. At first I was like, maybe he's a bit stiff. Maybe, you know, he's slept funny. Like, I do that sometimes. I sleep funny in the morning and I'll get out of bed and I feel like an absolute grandma. I was like, oh, maybe he's, you know, slept funny or weirdly or something like that. And I was like, no, this is not right. So on the phone I go to our vets and I'm like, hey, it's me again, your favourite customer. So anyway, our vets come out who are incredible. And at first we thought maybe it's tie-up or something like muscular or something, I don't know, like, I was thinking like maybe it's something neurological. Like, you know, with horses, you always think like, oh my gosh, is this the end? Like, you always think worst case scenario, like, kind of, anyway. And then our vet goes, I think he's got laminitis. And I was like, excuse me? She's like, yeah, I think he's got laminitis. I was like, what? Now, if you don't know what laminitis is, it's basically, the best way I can describe it in kind of simple Esme terms. This is how I describe it to my friends that aren't horsey. It's like horse diabetes where they have too much sugar. It's really bad for them. But the thing that's really bad for them is that extra sugar and protein basically makes their bones in their hooves shift and cause their hooves to get really hot and really painful. And, you know, worst case scenario, if the bones move and, you know, it's kind of game over. Like, it sounds horrible, but, you know, if a horse can't move, then, you know, it's the kind of thing to do. Anyway, we're not talking about that. So I was thinking all these thoughts going through my brain being, they were like, okay, we need to get him in his stable. So injected him with all this like pain relief because like he just was like really struggling to move, and it got like worse and worse by the time like they came out and that kind of thing. So got him in a stable, got loads of shavings bales, gave him an absolute princess bed. He was like Princess and the Pea, like all of this, like because Joey's stable is like a big stable as well. He's got like a mare and foal size stable. He lives like a king. So we're putting all these shavings bales in, and it's actually quite sweet because he's been lying like when he was, so yeah, he did have to go on box rest again. Not his favourite thing. But one thing we realised is that because obviously he was on quite a few different pain meds because, you know, we don't want him to be uncomfortable. And one morning we came up and saw him and he was like fast asleep, sleeping, obviously like recovering. And his face was like right next to his water bucket. And he just looked so sweet, but he was like lying in like a really different position to normal. But anyway, so we have this kind of a week or two of what I call purgatory, because there's this kind of like in between, like, is he going to be okay? Is he not? What's going to happen? It's that like awful, like each day, just like seeing how it goes, like waiting, because basically we needed to wait and see if his bones had shifted, and that takes a little while. Sometimes they can shift over like a week. So anyway, vets came back, got some more very expensive feet picks. Lovely. And luckily, the good news is his bones haven't moved. They haven't shifted. So all is well. So he actually bounced back really quickly. Now, oh yeah, I didn't even talk to you about one of the reasons why we were so shocked that he had laminitis. Now, laminitis, when you think of it, I normally think, now maybe I'm not naive thinking this, but I normally think a little obese Shetland, stocky kind of type of horse that's had too much grass. That's kind of what you think of when Joey is an active, big sports horse on a paddock that looks like a desert, has literally no grass. He's on a low sugar diet, and we were like, how has this happened? Now, we think it's because the weather this summer, we've had like a real heat wave in the UK. It's been so much warmer than usual, and we've had like no rain. And I think we had like one day where we had a little bit of rain, and that obviously was enough to just spark sugar in the grass. So we think it must have been that. Like, we can't think of anything else. So yes, we are. So when Joey was on box rest, we were soaking all of his hay. We were making sure that he wasn't basically he was angry because he was trapped inside with rubbish food. He was like, guys, you trapped me in the stable, I can't move, and the food you give me is rubbish. What are you doing? So he was not a happy bunny, but now, good thing is, x-ray's all good. It's back out in the paddock. He's with Casper now because both of them, before it was, they were like separate for a little bit just because they were on different diets, but now all of the horses, they're all on the like just no sugar, no food. Like, no, they are on food because obviously we don't want them to get ulcers, and they need some sustenance. Horses have to eat a little bit often, but they are on a proper diet. And I tell you what, since Casper and Joey have been like best buds since they've been out together, so we are thinking of maybe introducing Duke in with them as well. Before, when we had Mickey, we always kind of kept Mickey separate to the others just because, poor boy, he was getting old, he was a bit arthritic, like he just, bless him, could not keep up with the bigger horses, especially when they were running around. So anyway, we think we might put the trio out together because it's so sweet. Actually, it's quite funny. Every time I put Joey out with Casper, once I've ridden Joey, he has this thing where he just goes up to Casper, just wipes his face all over his butt. Don't know why. Casper just tolerates it, so they've been doing that, and they've also, I don't know, they've been very happy recently, which is good. I think Joey's just like got a new lease of life because he's like, I'm not trapped in a stable anymore, so he's just really happy. He's being ridden again. We're doing some jumping again now, and he's feeling amazing. So it goes to show like what a roller coaster horses are, because 1 minute I'm like, woo, he's feeling good, let's go. The next, I'm like, oh my gosh, he's on box rest, is this the end? And then more weeks go by, I'm like, okay, we're back, let's go. Like, honestly. So if you take anything away from this podcast episode, it is, please be careful with laminitis. Please be careful with your horse's sugar intake. I was like talking to a friend about this, and like a family friend of ours who's like older, she's like had horses or grown up with horses her whole life, and she was saying that when she was a kid, like laminitis wasn't really a thing. Like, people didn't really talk about it. It wasn't really something very common, and again, if it was like a little obese Shetland, when now it is so common. I know so many people who have had horses that it's affected, and just like, I was talking to my vet and they were like, so many horses this summer have had it. So this is please be careful of laminitis. I'm so scared of it now. I'm like, my horses will never have grass ever again. So anyway, that is the little Joey update for all of you on how he has been. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to summer. Like, I mean, it's been summer for a little while. It feels like summer. It feels like it's just been summer forever because we've had such a good spring this year. But I come to the conclusion, apart from my meet and greet at Red Post in August, I don't have any more horse shows that I'm like working or presenting out or doing meet and greets at until September now. So my next one coming around, if you want to know, it is the Blenheim Palace International Horse Trials, which actually this year is the European Championships for eventing, which is very, very cool. So this year will definitely be the year to go. If you're thinking of coming along, if you want to find out more information about that or my future meet and greets, go to thisesme.com, because I know every time I post a video or that kind of thing, there's always somebody asking, when's your next meet and greet? Where is it? Also, a little announcement that I announced last week, as we're on the topic of self-promo. Sorry, I am that content creator. Have to do it. It is my job. Hold my hands up. But I know because so many people have been asking, book 4, guys. It is happening. Book 4, the Starlight Stables gang. I know so many of you have been asking me, Esme, when is book 4 coming out? Because it has taken a little while compared to the others. And it's all about the character Daniel, his story, his home life. There's a lot going on. There's also quite a lot about his brother as well in it as well. So, and of course, there's some problems that the gang have to overcome. So book 4 will be coming out on the 2nd of October, so not too far away now. I feel like it's going to come around super, super quickly. I feel like this year has gone by so quickly. I don't know if that's just me or anybody else has found, like, how are we, like, almost end of July already? I feel like feel like I'm still in February. What's happened? Where's the year gone? Anyway, but I am going to be doing a book tour in the UK and in Ireland. So Team Ireland, I will be coming back for my book tour. Really, really excited for that. And I'm also going to be at the Bath Literary Festival with my co-author Jo. So that should be really good fun. So yeah, tickets are available for that if you want to come along. I'm also going to be doing a book signing afterwards for that as well. So yes, I think that's my little update for you all on most of the things. But yes, some of you might have seen that I've been posting a few of my YouTube videos actually on Spotify a little bit earlier than usual. So if you are a Spotify user, go and check out my Spotify video channel, This Esme Videos, I'm pretty sure it's called, because last week's video where I talked all about Joey and getting back into jumping and his very expensive feet pics and x-rays, that was actually on my Spotify channel before my YouTube channel. So go and check it out. Go and, I don't know, is it subscribe on Spotify, whatever, rate it, all the things. Really, really appreciate it. But yes, this week it's been like a little bit of a funny week. I've had quite a lot of like family stuff going on. So honestly, it's been a rough week. It's not been the best week. But we had a thunderstorm the other day. So a little bit different. So yeah, because I was saying we've had all this warm weather, we've finally had some rain, which I'm actually quite happy about, because my garden, I tell you what, my garden was not, it was looking dry. And, you know, it was kind of like my everyday kind of like evening routine of like going out, watering my plants so they don't die. Do you know what my little guilty pleasure is that I have been actually loving recently? Now, I don't know if anybody else went through an Animal Crossing phase. I did in lockdown. So much fun. What I would do is I would have my headphones on, play Animal Crossing background music. I don't know if anybody else, I don't know, it just makes me feel so much more productive. If I'm at home and having a cozy evening in the cottage, and sometimes I want to listen to music that doesn't have like words in, I will put on Animal Crossing music. That will literally be on my Spotify Wrapped this year. It will be like top played song, just 20-minute, I think it's like an hour of just like Animal Crossing music or something like that, ridiculous. So there we go. So I would like be watering my plants like I was in Animal Crossing, but now we've had a hose pipe ban, so can't even water my plants. So they were looking, so I was like having to get like a little watering can, filling it up, living the full Animal Crossing experience. But anyway, but yes, now we have finally had some rain, so my garden is looking a lot happier. Also, I'm sounding like such a grandma. They've done a study that if you have grandma hobbies or grandma activities, then you're more likely to live an extra 8 years, which I don't know how scientifically true that is, but I'm taking it. But you guys know, I love my grandma activities. I do my gardening, baking, scrapbooking, that kind of stuff. So, and I'm also really excited because it's hydrangea season. Hydrangeas, I think, are my favourite flowers. This is going to sound so nerdy, but it's because they are different colours depending on the pH of the soil. So if they're like super acidic, they're one colour, and if it's super alkaline, then it's the other colour, which actually, as a chemistry nerd, because I did do A-level chemistry at school, at college, it's actually the other way around for a litmus paper test. So little fun fact, there we go. Who says my podcast isn't educational? The other week I'm talking about toilets. Today I'm talking about chemistry. But if you have a blue hydrangea, it's actually acidic. And if it's a pink hydrangea, then it means you have alkaline soil, which is actually quite interesting because in my garden, I have one blue one and one pink one. So there we go. Although actually my pink ones are looking a little bit more purple this year. So maybe the soil's a bit more acidic than usual. Anyway, fun fact for you all. I don't know why, but I really like green hydrangeas. You can get like these greeny yellow ones, and I don't know what it is. I just think they look so pretty because I have one of those ones as well. I have a lot of hydrangeas in my garden, if you can tell. I mean, they are my favourite flower, but they just happen to be there already. I did put like a few in actually. But at the front of my house, there's a greeny yellow hydrangea, and they are probably maybe my favourite. I mean, they're the ones that I like to have in my house the most, just because it goes with the like interior of the cottage. But anyway, before we had this big we had back to the storm, so we thought, oh my goodness, it's going to be like loads of rain, flooding, because I'm going to get onto geography now. We're doing all the scientific all the subjects, because the ground basically has been so hard. When the rain comes, it takes a little while to like kind of go into the soil. So anyway, we thought, oh my gosh, there's going to be flooding. We were like, my dad and I were like digging all these trenches near where the tack room is, because for some reason when we have loads of rain, that is the place that does like to flood the most. But no, luckily no flooding this time. It was less rain than anticipated, but anyway, glad we had some rain for the garden. But the other thing that I found, oh my gosh, the flies this year, the flies have been next level, or the bugs. Because we've had this heat wave, I had the brilliant idea of opening my window in the cottage. And I thought, perfect, nice breeze. When it's cooler, I sleep so much better. Lovely stuff. I was doing this with my window open. Actually, maybe I shouldn't be saying this on a podcast because it's probably not very safe. That I'm like, hey guys, my window is open at night. So if anybody would like to crawl into my bedroom at night, come along. No. Anyway, so I don't do this anymore, which you will find out why in a second. So yes, window open, nice breeze, sleeping great. My watch is happy with me. I'm getting a great sleep score because I'm sleeping with it a little bit, colder. Anyway, one morning I wake up, and the best thing I can say is I look like I had the plague. I woke up all over my legs, all over my arms. I am not over-exaggerating here. I'm not over-exaggerating. I think I had at least 70 bites. Not 17, 70. All over my body. Now, for the last, 3 or 4 nights, window open, no bites at all. That night, it was like a plague of locusts. I don't know what happened, but the whole bugs in the whole of England decided, you know what? Tonight, we feast. And they just decided, you know what? Esme, she is one tasty girl. I think they have done studies. Don't hold me to this, but I'm pretty sure they have done studies that your blood type is what bugs or flies or whatever they actually prefer certain blood types. So if you want to know my blood type, I feel like is that a personal question? Is that something I should be saying on the internet? My blood type is O negative. So technically I have some magical blood. I am the universal blood type. So anyone can have my blood, but I can't have anyone's blood. So anyway, if you want to know, I'm pretty sure in some cultures, your blood type is kind of done like a personality test. Because I remember I had this Nintendo DS game back in the day. If anybody is my age, I was a pink Nintendo DS Lite girly. If you know, you know. And I remember I had this fashion game. It was I think it was like a Japanese kind of fashion game kind of thing. And when you first started, there's the character customization. You choose how you look, and I don't know, you pick your name and that kind of thing. And then it was what's your blood type? And I remember just going up to my mum being like, Mum, what's my blood type? And her being like, what 7-year-old comes up to their parent and just goes, hey, what's my blood type? Because obviously, I don't know if in some countries you just get your blood type tested straight away when you're born and you just know, or is that a thing? I don't know. But in the UK, I didn't know what my blood type was until I was 18 actually. And the only reason why I knew what my blood type was is when I went on a trip to Senegal with the Brook charity for insurance reasons. I had to have a full-on health test. And actually, no, tell you what, I was going to say today's podcast episode isn't going to have a toilet story, but this one is going to have a toilet story. When I tell you this was a full-on health test, I mean, I had to wee in a pot, and they had to test my wee. They had to feel my I just remember them having to feel my abdominal area, and I don't know, it was a full-on health test check, which I'd never had before. That's the only time I ever had it. I also had to have loads of vaccines and rabies shots and that kind of stuff. But also when they did that, they did a blood test, and they also found out what my blood type was as well. So if I don't know, I ended up in a car accident or had to have major surgery or that kind of thing, they'll be okay, she's covered, we know what her blood type is. So that's the only way that I found out what my blood type is. I mean, I think most women find out what their blood type is if they decide to have children one day and be pregnant and that kind of thing, because obviously it's probably a good idea to know, just in case. But yes, so I always thought, I'm gonna have to wait until I have kids or whatever to find out what my blood type was. But anyway, there we go. So if you want to know what my blood type is, but I didn't. Well, obviously at 7 years old, I was playing this DS game, and I found out that my mum was like, just put down what my blood type is. I was like, okay. Anyway, so yes, got bitten by all these flies all over me. Well, I think they're flies, bugs, whatever. At first I thought, because I'd just come back from Germany, I thought, do I have bed bugs? Like, have I got bed bugs from Germany? Are there loads of bed bugs in Germany? Because I know whenever I've been to the States before, I know that bed bugs is quite a big thing out there, especially if you're staying in like a little like sleazy motel or like that kind of, like, if you're not staying, actually even in nice places. I don't know. My dad, he did a trip to the USA and he said that the nicest hotel he stayed in was the hotel that he got bed bugs. So anyway, I don't know. I know they're not so much as a thing in Europe, I don't think, apart from actually Paris. They had a problem with bed bugs, didn't they? Were they on like the metro or something like that? Anyway, but in the UK I don't really think of bed bugs as much. Like, we don't have cockroaches, do we have cockroaches? Not really, no. So anyway, yes, I got a bit. So basically for the last week I've been popping antihistamines, which sounds really bad, but a little fun fact, if you do have loads of itchy bites, if you take antihistamines like you would for hay fever, it helps relieve the itching and the bites go down. So I have only been taking them at night though, because I find that antihistamines make me really sleepy. So I have been sleeping well, but anyway, don't do that. So yes, the bites have finally gone. So now instead, I have just been sleeping with my window closed and absolutely sweating, because I am probably the only person in the UK right now that has not got themselves a fan yet. I feel like everyone, like, there's all the memes on all the UK like meme pages that I follow. And it's like, all right, it's time for all the fans that are up in everyone's attic to come down, and they're all working overtime. They've had like the winter of just chilling, and now it's their time to shine. But I don't have a fan. I haven't got to that stage yet. So far, I probably should get myself a fan. But you know what? It's cooling down. We've had our rain and that kind of thing, but we will see. We'll see if I cave. If anybody has any fan recommendations, let me know in the comments. But anyway, on that note, I am going to finish off today's podcast episode there. I really hope you enjoyed listening to Joey and my anecdote on basically his whole... We've talked about a lot of medical stuff actually in today's podcast episode. Unintentionally, we talked about all of his medical problems. We talked about me going and getting health checked like 5 years ago randomly. Anyway, it's been a week of health, bad and good. So I hope you guys are staying happy and healthy, and your family and you guys are all well. Again, leave a comment for comment of the week. Thank you for listening to today's podcast episode. Hopefully next week is going to be a little bit more lighthearted and fun. I feel like we've talked about some deep stuff today, but also I just want to say a huge thank you to Red Post for sponsoring the podcast. Really, really appreciate it, and I will see you all next time. And also come along to Blenheim because it's a great event, and I'll see you there. Bye.